I appreciate you. I wanted to tell you, thank you so much for allowing me this time to share my story, to help others with my unique experiences. I appreciate you. There is no right or wrong way to wake up. It was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was the scariest thing, honestly, that happened to me. It is a very jarring experience. It is something that I will say I wish I had been prepared for. Since this awakening has happened, everything about me has changed. Every single thing. And it's all a result of that specific awakening. And I am so grateful for it. You're like a whole different person. It's so weird. But you know what she says to me? I'm really proud of you, Mom. That is the only opinion that matters to me.
Welcome, dear listeners of the Olio Schirach Show, new ones and reoccurring ones. This is the third part of my longer interview I had with Trina. And in this third part, Trina shares with us her Kundalini awakening and what happened in her life after the awakening, what she would have loved to know before, and what is her advice for people which don't have such an experience or are perhaps just going through one. In case you haven't listened to the first or second episode, it's not required for this last one because I tried to cut them in a way that you can listen to them separately. In the first two, she shares more about her own journey, who she is, where she's coming from, her own adoption as a kid, and giving away one of her own kids for adoption, the trauma related to that, the pain, and her own growth, spirituality, religion, and so much more. It took me some time to get this episode out because I had technical issues. Parts of my audio and video were lost, so I tried to reconstruct it, therefore it took a bit longer to have this video out. And I hope my corrections are not too disturbing. I did my best to keep the flow, and so without any further ado, welcome, Trina. So, can you please share with us your Kundalini awakening? How has that been, and what was the experience for you?
So my awakening was almost it was earlier this year, back in, I want to say March, perhaps. It was with a partner. So we'll probably leave most of that there, but it was with a partner, and it was with this partner who was a friend of mine, who was from Texas, actually, from Dallas, Texas. And he was the one who always talks about, if you can't see the divinity in your mind, and had an experience with him. And from that point on, like, it was a complete, I can't even express to you. Have you ever had a Kundalini awakening? Let's start there.
No, I didn't have a Kundalini awakening or a spiritual awakening, as many say. My awakenings were more on the mental level, seeing what is happening around us in the world, politics, healthcare, food, all that kind of stuff. So, my awakening was more like, as I said, mental, and how the world tries to control us and what they want us to believe in.
Okay. So for me, it was a very physical awakening, as we know Kundalini awakenings to be. And it wasn't even in the sense that you would think that it was. It wasn't even in a physical face-to-face sense. It was different. So very difficult. Well, it would be kind of weird to get into, but we'll just leave it at that. But I will tell you, from that moment on, everything about me has changed. Everything about my life, everything that I believed this world to be, everything that I believed myself to be, everything that I believe you to be, how you show up in this world, how I'm supposed to show up, completely changed. Everything about my diet, the way that I dress, every single thing. It was a very stressful awakening because I felt what most people feel when they have that type of awakening, that maybe they're crazy. And again, it's that whole believing in the experience that allows you to awaken further. There was many different stages that all happened all at once. So with Kundalini awakenings, it's a very physical awakening with again, I explained to you like hot flashes, things of that nature. It was awakening with like breath work, understanding where my breath is, what that is. And again, it was all done in a very, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on a YouTube, but it was done through a physical connection experience. And that is how I got my Kundalini awakening, with a partner, with another person who I believe to be divinely led and guided in all the ways that matter. And through our physical connection, I was able to receive telepathic messages even with this person. I even have a telepathic connection with this person still. And we are going through what I would probably explain as a twin flame separation. And so all of this was done through a very physical way, on a physical level.
Was the Kundalini awakening experience a prepared awakening, kind of? Like, did you plan to get awakened? Did you plan to have a Kundalini awakening, or did it just happen as a surprise? Did you just get, thrown into a surprise?
It was one of those things that just happened on my end. Now, for him, I believe it was planned. I do believe he knew, like we had already been talking about spirituality, my gifts that I felt that I had at the time, which were limited. I don't even want to say limited because they're always there. They're always ready for us to open them up. But he had an understanding of what Kundalini awakenings were. I did not even have a full understanding of what it was, which is why I was so nervous when it happened, because I had it was an immediate sense. I knew what was happening when it happened. And it was a very similar experience to what your friend expresses. It was right after it happened. It was that night, my body, it felt drastically different. It hurt, like my back. I had these massive waves of pain going through my back. I was exhausted. I was sweat. That's when I started. Remember, I told you I was like starting to sweat and stuff. That's where that started, was during that time. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? And it was all at one time. It was one night that it happened. It was probably about 1:00 in the morning. And it was the scariest thing, honestly, that happened to me, because I didn't even know that's what it was called. I had to go and look it up and find this for myself, because I was like, what's going on with me? Something is happening. And I don't know how to express what this is. And I feel like if I tell people about it, they're going to think like I'm some weird witch who like got put on a spell by some man, but I understand what it was now. At the time, I didn't. And it did take me, I will tell you, a good month to really put a name to what happened that night. But it is, for anybody who has ever experienced a Kundalini awakening, it is, you're not crazy at all. Your health is not declining, and you're okay. It is a very jarring experience. It is something that I will say, I wish I had been prepared for. I wish I had known what it was. Now, in hindsight, he did try to tell me about it. He had talked to me about it so much leading up to that specific act happening that led to that awakening. And I just wasn't really receiving it until it happened. And then I received. But if this is something anybody who is listening is wanting to experience, listen to your body and understand what a Kundalini awakening is before you go into it, to save yourself a lot of, am I going crazy? Something's wrong with me. I need to go to the hospital. Because with Kundalini awakenings, you can quite literally send yourself into convulsions. You can send yourself into massive anxiety attacks if you have no clue what's going on. It can be scary, for sure. But if you have an understanding of what it is, meditate about it, exactly what you're saying. Pray about it if that's the verbiage you want to use, and have an understanding before you go into it. Don't ever go into it the way that I did. So that's what I'm saying.
Do I understand you correctly that this one night, this one experience has completely changed you? the way you see yourself and other people, and look at the reality in a new way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Everything about who I was prior to that awakening. Oh my gosh. If you even saw my Instagram page, so I've completely even changed my Instagram page because it was all about me. It was all about me. Like, oh, I've got something to teach you. I can tell you what to do. I know I have all the answers. Now, oh, and everything about me has changed since that awakening. Now, like as you see, I very rarely show my face on Instagram. I very rarely will go and offer insight to people because for me, since that awakening has transpired, I now understand that we are all connected. So it's not a Trina show. It's not the Trina show. Everybody else has insight to offer. And I choose to use my platform now to highlight other people because I believe that I am not the end all, the be all. I do believe I am that I am, but I also believe so are you. And I believe so are you. And through your unique experiences in your life, and through our ability to help showcase other people's experiences, that is where true growth happens. And so again, since this awakening has happened, everything about me has changed. My appearance has drastically changed. The way that I speak has drastically changed. The way that I mother and parent my children, the way that I know this world to be has drastically changed. And it's all a result of that specific awakening. And I am so grateful for it. So it's something that I encourage other people for other people, but I do believe it is a very sacred act. It is a very sacred time in a person's life that a person must be prepared for. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot force it to drink. Because if you try to force somebody into a Kundalini awakening who is not ready for that, you can actually do a lot more damage to that person than you can good, because then you can send somebody who is not ready into these mental spirals, if you will, especially if they don't have the support system around them to understand what is happening to them.
So with this Kundalini awakening, the insights to the world, the inner changes, and the way you changed your communication and viewpoints, how did that influence your surroundings, the people with you? Did you lose people, friends, family members that were close to you, people that you loved? Did they just leave you?
Whoa, good question. Okay, so as you probably know, through any Kundalini awakening, or really through a lot of different awakenings, but with these specific awakenings, the divine will throw everything and everybody who is not meant to be in your path out of the way, out of the way. And usually with Kundalini awakening, this is one of the things that can be so difficult for us emotionally to deal with. A lot of the time, be prepared to lose everything. And there is no pretty way to sugarcoat this. Be prepared to lose everything and lose everybody during these type of awakenings in your life. And it doesn't even have to be specific to Kundalini awakenings. It can be for any awakening that you have where you are fully trusting in the divine and not yourself. So when you say to the divine, hey, I trust you and only you, the divine will test you and say, okay, let me see how much you really trust me by taking away everything in your life that makes you feel comfortable. And that is when trust, man, hashtag trust. Because if you don't trust the process, you won't make it through an awakening of that magnitude. Because when you awaken, you truly awaken, the divine will strip everything that is not serving of the divine's highest order. And that usually means friends, it means family, it means ways of living, it means thought processes. And again, if you are not ready for this type of awakening, a lot of people will get depressed. Some people are not able to physically make it through these type of awakenings. And that is just the sad reality of it. And that's why it is so important to not force somebody into this type of awakening. Because if you don't have the understanding that these things are happening for you and not to you, it will feel like the whole world is against you. It will feel as if that you are on the wrong path. So specific to my path, I will tell you this. I lost my marriage and I could not understand because I was like, well, I love this man and I will stick with him through anything. It doesn't matter. I swear. It's okay. I forgive him. But the divine said, no, that's okay that you forgive, but this does not serve your highest purpose. And even though you love this person, you will unconditionally love them from afar. And I had to learn that lesson. And not only did I learn that lesson, I lost friends. I lost just about every person I considered to be friends. And you don't know this about me, but I don't throw the word friend around easily. I believe friend is a sacred word, such as love is a sacred word. You don't use that word with everybody. Not everybody is deserving of that word. So has friendship. So I lost, I had two friends, only two, and I lost both of them. I call it a Judas moment. When you go through Kundalini awakenings, you'll have a lot of Judas moments where you will feel, um, I thought these people were my friends, but really it's not that they weren't. It's just that they were meant to serve a higher purpose in your life, which was to show you you don't need anybody. And a lot of the times when you go through a Kundalini awakening, you have what I call these isolation periods where the divine will isolate you, but it's through divine isolation. It's to help you understand that you are not alone and to rely solely up here. And that these isolation periods are not forever. They're not forever, but they are so important and they are so integral to the growth of a spiritual being to lose everything. And that is the nature of a Kundalini awakening, is to lose everything. You will lose friends. I lost my friends and I lost family members. I did. And not in a physical sense, but in a sense where they could not understand the path that I was walking. They could not understand that I refuse to live my life in a worldly sense. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the clothes. I don't care about the opinions of what the way the world tells you to show up. And a lot of the time, family will look at you and say, well, you didn't used to be like that. And they will judge you. And it is up to you to fight because that's what the world will tell you to do. Oh, well, let me explain to you what's happening. You don't need to explain to anybody anything. And one of my friends, the friend who assisted me in the Kundalini awakening says, let whoever think whatever. Does it really matter? No, it doesn't. And because of this thought process, you will lose people. And I posted a video once of a person walking down a ship, walking down the stairs of a ship. It's from the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. And he's looking right in front of him. And there are cannons shooting off everywhere. And there is destruction and fire and smoke and bodies and just all this chaos around him. But he is laser focused on what is in front of him. And that is the nature of a Kundalini awakening. It is to understand that you are going to walk through destruction. You are going to have people flying from this side and smoke flying here, and you are going to lose your home. You may lose your job. You may lose your car. You may lose somebody that you once called friend because they see this path that you're walking and there's a lot of jealous people, a lot of jealous eyes. And but it is not your job to explain anything because the people that are meant to understand will understand. It is your job to continue to walk forward with your eyes on the prize, with your eyes on the goal, with your eyes on the destination. And it is the nature of humans to say, I'm scared. I don't get it. I don't know what to do. I'm losing everybody. It's not for you to understand. It is for you to continue walking the journey and the path, understanding that there is something better there, but you need to let go and surrender. My children, I am blessed and I am fortunate that I have always marched to the beat of my drum. I've always raised my children in the way that I feel that the divine intended for me. And because I've always had a deep knowing, I now understand all of these things I had been doing as a mother were things I was always supposed to do. And so my children, they see these changes in me and they tell me all the time, I'm so proud of you. I have a 16-year-old daughter And she says to me, Mom, I'm so proud of you. You used to be so like this way. And I just like now you're like this. You're like a whole different person. It's so weird. But you know what she says to me? That matters. I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you, Mom. That is the only opinion that matters to me. That's the only opinion that matters to me. The people of those with the pure hearts around me who understand, people like you, people like my children who are these divine beings and they understand the nature of humans, but they also understand the divine nature of us in this path. And that's what matters to me. And so I've lost just about everything in my life over this last year. I lost my marriage. I lost my house. I lost my Tesla and lost like two people who are my best friends in this whole world. And I recently severed a connection with one of my sisters. And that has been probably the most painful loss of my life. And it was not because, she did something that was just, it was just that at this point in my life, I know that I can unconditionally love people, but unconditional love does not mean unconditional tolerance. In fact, the best unconditional love that you can offer is that you give to yourself by putting up boundaries. And again, with Kundalini awakenings, you must put up boundaries to protect where you are. And at one point in time, some point down the road, these boundaries will come down. But right now they are necessary. They are necessary. And that is the nature of a Kundalini awakening. It is not this big, bright, beautiful, just shiny moment where we're just like, it's not that at all. Not that at all. The nature of a Kundalini awakening is to be isolated. It is to sit and understand that when you are isolated, it is because you are to lean on the divine, because you are never alone. And the thing is, we all have that. Like part of the experience of waking up is just understanding. Like this is all already in our DNA. That's that deep knowing that you're talking about. You know it so deeply because it's so deeply ingrained in your DNA. Part of Kundalini awakening is being able to access those memories by eating correctly, drinking the right types of fluid, having the right experiences happening, and then being able to surrender to those experiences. You can do things like sun gazing. There's all of these different things that you can do to get to this Kundalini awakening moment. But it's also people like you who have these stories where it's like, hey, I've just experienced 10 years of traumas that have helped me get here. And there is no right or wrong way to wake up. And that's why, like, I always tell people, like, I'm so different. I don't use words. Words matter, but I don't use them like, I don't like to tell people, like, oh, it's a Kundalini awakening. It is the awakening that you feel you're having in the way that you're having it. It is what you say it is. That's why I say my name is what it is. It's not what somebody told me it is. I'm very big on just knowing because you do just know. Trust that.
We have so much to share. And
Yes.
this is crazy. This is crazy. So much information, and I just understand all these things. It's awesome what you shared. I have so many other things in my head. Like, how do I pull these things together? All these thread out here. You shared something about tarot cards, numerology. So, what are you actually doing now? Or what did you do before? Now, have you been an accountant, a shop assistant, homestaying mom?
Sure.
And what are you doing now?
So the interesting thing is this. I didn't go to college. Okay. I did for a little bit, but then I was like, oh, let me go have some kids. So that's what I did. And then I went and started doing sales and marketing because again, at the time I was a lot younger. I had the face and I was like, oh yes, this will be easy because I'll just use my looks to get by. And that's what I did. And up until recently, I was working in the corporate world and information technology. And that is definitely a male driven world. It is not a world where women are taken seriously at all. But it was a world that I was very successful in because of how little and cute and smart I am. And I'm not the typical. But then again, it's like that knowing I just have never liked working. I'm just going to be honest. I just never liked the corporate world. I did not like business meetings. What? Like, I don't like being told how to dress. Like, no, 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 no. And so every job I ever had within sales, I just didn't like it. And I would find some reason to leave because it just didn't feel natural. It almost felt like my body, oh, my little light's off. It almost felt like my body was breaking down. It was the weirdest thing. But then when I married my partner, the one who I recently got divorced from, he was very much in line with me staying home and raising my children. And I was very grateful for that because that honestly, when I am just in a state of existing, I feel so much better. I feel like I can receive messages, I can receive things better. I just feel more connected. Have you ever heard the phrase disconnect to connect? That is how I feel. When I'm disconnected from the world, I feel more connected to source. And when we feel more connected to source, then we are able to understand what our true purpose here is. And that is what I've been doing. So I started thinking, okay, I need to figure out something because while I'm here, from a worldly perspective, we have to play by the rules. And you can't just go frolicking through the forest all the time and have what you need, right? Like as a mom, I still got to buy you clothes. I still have to buy food. And so I was like, well, here we go. I am divorced. I can't just sit home now. I've got to find something to do. So I started doing a life coaching business on the side. It was called Trina Marie Soul Ascension for the Divine. Because I wanted other people to have this knowledge of how to eat, how to live, how to dress even, because even the clothes we wear are poisonous for us. So I decided that's what I'm going to do. I picked up tarot cards, which is something I never did until this year in February. I got my first set of tarot cards and I was like, I have no clue what I'm doing, but here we go. And I loved it. And I was like, okay, so this is what I'm supposed to do. I can literally make money to survive by doing what I am naturally good at, which is intuiting things, which is using my experiences to help other people. And now here's the interesting thing. When you go and you do things like this, people will push back on you. And they'll be like, because I had somebody tell me, one of my best friend's partners, he looked at me and he said, Trina, you are the last person I would take relationship advice from. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I didn't react that way. I'm a receiver because I'm divine feminine. Divine feminine, we are receivers. So I received that message. It doesn't bother me when people, it used to bother me because I always felt like I needed to assert myself. I needed to prove myself. But as I began to get closer and closer to the divine, I understand that I'm a receiver of gifts and I'm a receiver of things. And so when he said that to me, I just looked at him and I said, I received that message. I said, but here's what I want you to know. My experiences are the best teachers, not only for me, but I won't let you wanting me to question and doubt myself. I won't receive that part of it, but I will receive your message. And I know that I still have something of value to offer you, even if I haven't had a successful relationship. That doesn't mean I'm not valuable. That doesn't mean my experiences aren't valuable. Because now I know that my lessons are my greatest teachers. And not only are they my greatest teachers, I can use my life as an example to other people. It's part of that divine trust in yourself, not only in yourself, in the divine. And so, yeah, I've had many of experiences like that. But what I do now is I do that on the side, but I'm also, I don't know the exact name for it. I go and I help children with disabilities who this is my career as of now in the worldly sense. I work for a family who their son has a disability who the world looks at as somebody who is not able to care for themselves or think for themselves or have their own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And I spend 8, sometimes 12 hours a day with this young man. And I learn from him. I interact with him. I take care of him. And through taking care of him in a very physical sense, he takes care of me in a very spiritual sense. He teaches me things about myself that most people would look at him and his disability and be like, what could you possibly have to gain and learn from him? I learn the most beautiful lessons from him every day. I learn the gift of patience. I learn how to communicate people with him in not just a worldly way with our words. I learn how to communicate with him in a way that he understands and he understands me through love and through acts of service. We're able to serve one another. And he's a child. He's a little boy. And I'm an adult and I can still learn from him through taking care of him. So that is what I do for a career. That is what I do for a living. I care for a boy with disability.
Yeah, and you offer your coaching also tarot card reading for people, or is it just for you?
So I do offer it for other people, but I offer it as a way to help with life coaching. So think with therapy, with tarot cards. So as well as my own experiences. So that's what I do as well. So I'll do it with people who come to me and are like, hey, I'm going through this experience in my life. Like one of my clients happens to be a good friend of mine who is going through relationship difficulties. And she's kind of going through her own awakening right now. And so I'm able to offer insight through use of my tarot cards, through guidance from a spiritual perspective, but also through this is what's going on. These are some ways that you can maybe handle life through divine guidance with my cards. It's really, really interesting because most people use tarot to like predict the future or predict what has happened, where I do that as well, but I don't use it as a way to prophesize anything. I use it as a way to help spiritually awaken you.
Okay, that's interesting. Have you ever done that for a group of people? Like, this is like the energy I feel for the people that watch me to awaken them.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Yep, absolutely.
That would be really cool to see that.
Yep, I would love to do that sometime for you guys. I've actually been thinking about like going on lives eventually and doing my like own little podcast and using my tarot cards to like open up questions with. And so, hey, I could always do that for you if you ever wanted.
Yeah, we can
Absolutely.
see like if we do like a second episode and I take some try to pull all these open questions that are swirling around, because you have so much knowledge and wow, there's so much energy, but that's what's happening. Fire and fire element. I've not been communicating much with lions. I just shared that with another woman, which told me she's a Leo. I'm like, this is weird. I don't know so many Leos, but I know a lot of Aries. And she said she doesn't know a lot of Aries, but she knows a lot of Leo. I don't know if that's kind of...
That's wild. I don't know any Aries except for you, really.
Yeah, we are very stubborn bastards. We can push a lot of things into starting, but that's kind of like you say, Aries is like the first sign of the circle, right? So it's like the starter, fire element, like the Leo, and
yes.
So I can definitely feel that fire. I have to say, like,
yeah.
Yeah. So, is there any, like advice or call to action you would like to share with the audience for this part of our show?
Yes, I would. And it's really basically the same themes that we've been talking about. My call to action would be for people to understand that when things happen in your life, whether they feel good or not, because a lot of us like to cling to the things that feel good in our lives. It's really easy to live this experience when things are going good. But when things are going good, things are stagnant in your life because you're not growing when things are going good. There's not an opportunity to learn when things are going good because they're going good. You have the answers. My call to action would be for a couple of things. Go outside. Go outside. Go outside. Get in the sun. Put your back against a tree and get ready for your life to fall apart so we can fall together. I'm telling you, there is so much healing in nature, specifically in trees. And it would be so much to get into it, but trees are just like mycelium network on a grander scale. They are meant to show you who you are. They are the greatest teaching and healing tool, but be prepared if you put your hand on a tree for your life to fall apart in the most beautiful way ever. My whole life fell apart this last year because I chose to put my hands on a tree and say, I trust you. Show me what it is I need to see. I got a divorce. I lost my father. I lost my house. I lost my car. I lost my job, everything. I lost everything, my friends, everything. But I didn't lose anything. It happened for me. So I would like everybody to understand what surrender is. Surrender and to understand that that is the only way to happiness, is to allow things to fall away from your life. Allow things. Don't, when rocks inevitably get thrown in your river, the first thing we want to do is go run in that river and fish that rock out so that we can continue this flow of energy in our life. But when you do that, when you think that a rock being thrown in your path, when a divorce happening, when losing your kids, when people talking bad about you or losing your friends, when you try to control that flow in your life, you will end up just like this, just like constantly struggling to get up the river, constantly struggling, constantly depressed, anxious, angry, sad, upset, constantly feeling no sense of clarity about life. When you can let go and understand that these things are happening for you, for is the word. Allow the divine to take over. Allow the divine to show you who you are in these moments that feel scary, that feel hard, that feel isolating and alone, and you don't know which way to turn. Those are the moments where the divine is showing you who you are. The divine is showing you how strong that you are. But it takes surrendering. It takes saying, I don't know why you're doing this. I have no fucking clue. And it's so uncomfortable. And I'm even a little pissed off at you right now for allowing this shit to happen in my life. It's okay. The divine is so much bigger than you, and the divine can take that. Get mad if you want, but then understand that this is for you. And man, how beautiful, how great thou art it is. How beautiful for your life to fall apart. How beautiful. The world will tell you it's uncomfortable and it's scary and it's bad and it's sad. But that's not true. This is my favorite thing I like to say. When the world says to look right, you better go left because the world is wrong. It's completely wrong. So when things happen to you, it's not bad. It's good. It means that the divine trusts you. It means that you're ready for evolution. It means you're ready to ascend. It means that you're ready to love and grow and evolve. So my call to action would be, let the tower fall. Let the bridges burn. Let the cannons go off. Let the smoke fly. Let the bodies fly. Let it fall down and crumble around you. And do so with a loving, and here's the key word, with a grateful heart. Make sure you tell divine, thank you for this divorce. Thank you for this job loss. Thank you for making me start over again. Thank you for showing me who I am. Because you are not alone. You are loved, you are capable, and you are ready. So when it happens, be grateful, be happy, and sit in love, sit in your heart. That's what I would say. Trust.
Wow, that was step 1, 2, 3. It's kind of like a summary of what we talked. Awesome. Yeah, let the tower fall, and you're ready. Basically, when shit happens, you're ready. Sometimes you need to hear that.
Yes.
Is there anything actually we forgot to? I forgot to ask you. Anything that comes up? I mean, even after almost 2.5 hours, is there anything you would like to share to this first talk?
I would actually. I will be. Listen, I'm endless words of wisdom here. Change the way that you eat. And it's uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. But there's a reason why they call it a gut feeling. There's a reason why it's called a gut feeling. When you constantly put things in your gut that are not good for you, and a lot of people like to go and look at the Bible, and they like to look at the middle part of the Bible where we were dependent upon bread and wine and all of these things that we consider to not really be that good for our guts now. Those things were only being eaten and utilized during times of famine, okay? But at the beginning of the Bible and at the end of the Bible, it talks very much about, I have put you, like when in the Garden of Eden, I've put you here. I've given you the food that is necessary, the seeds and the plants, which are fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Okay. That if you are somebody who is interested in an awakening, you are interested in opening up your spiritual gifts, Kundalini awakenings, it starts with your diet. It starts with your diet. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very, very difficult, and it takes a long, long time. It really does. None of this stuff is overnight. It's not supposed to be. And if it is overnight, then more power to you. That's really cool. I wish I was you. But actually, I don't. I'm proud of who I am. But change your diet, change your diet, change your life, change your diet, change your mind. It starts with what you put in your body. It really does. And it's not just from a food sense, because food comes from all sources. It comes from books. It comes from you. It comes from the people that we meet. But it starts with the food you put in your body. If you walk around putting a bunch of processed foods and a bunch of dyes and meat filled with parasites and things like that, I mean, be prepared to stay asleep for a really, really long time. Be prepared for inflammation. Be prepared for dis-ease. Be prepared for all of these things that you don't want, things that are worldly. It starts with putting the right things in your body. Go put seeds in your body. Don't eat things that are seedless. If it's seedless, it's dead. And make sure you eat things with seeds. Eat the seeds. Drink the water. That's the message. Get in the sun.
Yeah, wow. Which brings me back to the one question you mentioned, sun gazing. What's that? Is that like looking with your bare eyes into the sun?
It is. It is. So sun gazing is extremely important for pineal gland activation. So I forgot to mention that. So the pineal gland, it's covered in the little hairs, all the silica fibers. And there's a lot of different ways that you can help to activate the pineal gland. One of the best ways to do this is through direct sunlight exposure. Again, if the world says go right, then you better go left. And the world tells you you're going to damage your eyes, you're going to mess up your eyes. No, you're not. So there is a way to do it though. I'm not saying go directly in the middle of the day and go like burn your corneas. That's not what sun gazing is. Sun gazing is, I like to do it either at the very beginning of the day. That's my personal preference. Or you can do it at the end of the day. So if you are a beginner at sun gazing, don't start by looking directly at the sun. Go out when the sun is first coming up. So this means you have to wake up early. So get up early, go sit outside and meditate in the grass, and in some cotton clothes, please. And go look to the left of the sun. Don't look directly at it. As you get better at this, you'll be able to look directly into the sun, and when the sun is rising. But when you first start, you'll only be able to do it for a couple of seconds, but you won't even be able to look directly at it. So what you should do is get comfortable, drink some water, look to the left of the sun. And even if you have to hold your hand up like this, get used to looking at the brightness that emanates from the sun. Look into that for as long as you can stand to do it. When I first started, I could only do it for like 2 seconds at a time. And I would look off to the left and then I have to look down and then I'd like squint up and look back down. And that's as much as I could take. 8 months later, I can look directly into the sun in the morning hours when it's first rising. And again, this is wonderful way to activate the pineal gland. Wonderful way. There's all kinds of science behind this. It also helps with cicada rhythm. You regulate your cicada rhythm. So you're not up all hours of the night. You don't have to take melatonin all the time or Benadryl or Ambien or whatever the world tries to shove down your throat that tells you can't sleep. You can sleep. Get off your phone at night. Just get off your phone and look directly into the sun first thing in the morning, or off to the side, like I said, it will start to establish a cicada rhythm that makes sense for your body. And not everybody's rhythm is the same. Some people are meant to be more awake at night. That goes back to, thousands of years ago when we had night watchers at night. And that's a whole other story for another time. But there are people who, are more successful at night. But the sun, bottom line, is the key to this life. That's why I make sun water. It's why I gaze into the sun. It's why I only eat food sourced from the sun. The sun will activate these gifts within you. It's the key to so much. Go down a rabbit hole. You want to go down a rabbit hole? Look into the sun. I'm telling you, you've heard of seasonal depression, right? That's because the sun is not there. It's absolutely vital for a human's development and growth, physically, spiritually, and mentally. It just is. So get in the sun when you can and take those contacts out if you have them in. Because some people think like looking through your window is enough, and it's not. You need direct, unfiltered sunlight.
Thanks a lot. Where can people find you? Where can they reach out to you? What is the best way to connect with you if the listeners want to connect?
I am a very private person. I never used to be this way, but I am now. The best way to find me is through Instagram. So it's going to be, my Instagram handle is the Soul, SOL, like the sun. So the Soul, SOL, High Priestess Rising. It's a long name. But that's the best way to reach me. That's where I will do tarot readings. That's where I can connect with you on a more personal level through means of Zoom or telephone calls. But my purpose here is to do what we're doing, is to connect with other humans, to learn about your experiences and to share mine so that we can grow together. Because that's the whole reason we're here. So my Instagram would be the best way to find me.
Yes, thank you so much for this deep talk we had together. This was, wow. I'm looking so much forward to another conversation with you on all kind of topics and all the things we have forgotten to touch upon, or the changes that happen in your life.
And I appreciate you. I wanted to tell you, thank you so much for allowing me this time to share my story, to help others with my unique experiences. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And for the listeners, thank you for listening so far and to the end of this talks and to the other talks I have on my channel. If you have any questions for my guest or me, please do not hesitate and reach out. You can write to me on Spotify on the different episodes, also here on the YouTube, or send me an email to schirach@gmail.com. Schirach with a SCHIRACH. Thank you and have a great day.